Welcome back to my channel, Fazbear's Menagerie of Madness, where I'll explore the universe of Five Nights at Freddy's and I hope in a new and unique interpretation of events. When Security Breach was first released, we were introduced to the new Glamrock Freddy, who would become the friend and guardian to the player, Gregory. Since then, the identity of any soul that could occupy the animatronic is vague and up for anyone's guess. So, I'm going to give it a go. And those non-book readers, you'll probably dislike my answer. The community have guessed either Mike Afton, Charlotte Emily, or Henry Emily as the likely candidates. Mike, being the big brother of the crying child, would suit the guardian position well, as Mike becomes protective of his younger brother following the bite of 83. And being the likely security guard at the restaurant in Pizzeria Simulator, the fire would have claimed his remnant-infused body, leaving him wanting a new one. Regardless of how well he would do as a candidate, the means of getting his soul from the restaurant to the Glamrock animatronic is questionable. His body has never been shown to include any circuit boards, so his ability to be uploaded into the computer network is unlikely. Without the parts, the technicians would not see him as an animatronic, and therefore, I don't think Mike would have been uploaded. Another speculation is that Mike could become the Tangle, as the Tangle's origins are, unlike any of the other animatronics, the collection of parts rather than a purpose-built animatronic. Although I'll leave that theory for another video. If you've watched my video of Sun and Moon, then you have already heard that I think Charlotte Emily's soul occupies the Sun animatronic. My reasons come from connecting the puppet and Lefty similarities of Lullabies and Lefty having a design to control her. Sun shows to be better suited to look after the daycare, as Sun is better with the children. Again, a trait of Charlotte Emily. As Charlotte's protective personality trait would be better for the daycare attendant, then I find it unlikely it's her. If you've watched my video on Glamrock Bonnie, then you have already heard that I think that Henry's soul occupies Bonnie. My reasons come from the speculation that the caution bots would protect someone who was trying to free them all following the fire within Pizzeria Simulator. If instead Henry moved onto the spirit realm, then it wouldn't be him either. So, if I don't believe the three likely candidates are possessing Freddy, then who? This theory comes from who is left. Someone who would be protective of a child they had just met. Someone who would be attracted to the lead role in a band. And in control of a strong robot. And I think Jake from The Real Jake is him. In the story, The Real Jake, we are told of the child, son of Evan and Roxanne, who passes away following several years suffering from a growth in his brain. This story follows on to Jake possessing the Simon doll, then later, the Stitch Wraith. This process left him forgetting his past and family. The last we encountered Jake was him collapsing in the ball pit of a closed-down restaurant following a battle with Eleanor. Presumably, a Freddy Fazbear restaurant that would later have all its animatronics collected and again possibly brought to the Pizzeria Simulator location. If the process was successful, Jake would seek out an animatronic that would best match his personality. Jake spent many of his conversations with the Simon doll talking about what the real Jake had done. This process involved the making up of scenarios that Jake would have been doing if not for his illness. Jake wished he could be popular and have fun with his friends. His illness meant he was weak and needing the constant care from his caretaker, Margie. He would eventually pass away in his bed quietly. Once he was free of his body, he attached himself to the Simon doll and left the house to explore the world. Jake's greatest attributes are his mind, body, and soul. Jake made friends. He trusted in others. He was accommodating to Margie even if Margie was hired to care for him. Freddy is trusted as the leader in a band. He is the face of the Pizzaplex, a welcoming character. A good match for Jake. Jake's illness made him weak. His desires lead him to dream up things he would be doing if his body would let him. Freddy is a strong animatronic. Possibly the strongest if not for Monty. A good match for Jake. Jake's soul was always in the right place. How he didn't complain and was friendly to all those he came into contact with. Freddy's catchline from the cartoon was, "You and me forever and ever." A good match for Jake. While Jake's soul would not assert himself until the performance that forced Freddy to reboot on stage at the start of Security Breach, his personality would come useful to Gregory, as Gregory was alone and afraid and needing his help. If I'm correct on this, then this would mean that Jake McNally, son of Evan, is now helping Gregory, the rebuilt crying child. As I have suggested in a previous video, the McNally name could have been his mother's name to disconnect Jake from his Afton legacy. If so, then Jake's father was the crying child. And Gregory is the animatronic that holds the memories of the crying child, extracted after the bite of 83 and stored away in the Fredbear plush, kept secure for decades in the Circus Baby rental facility. The son of the crying child is helping the animatronic that holds the memories of the crying child. The son is helping the father. Thanks for staying with me till the end. Click on the image of the rabbit in the lower right corner to subscribe for future content.